Well, I grew up in South Africa where politics was very much part of daily life, controlling it, shaping it, and controlling the lives of people really on the basis of the color of their skin. And to me, that was, I just think, and intuitively, it was just something that was, which was not moral. It was something that didn't feel right. Even before I could articulate it, I became a teenager, it became clear. As I became a teenager, I suppose I became more aware of being able to, more capable rather, of being able to articulate the injustices of the apartheid system. The time that I left South Africa when I was very young, but I was starting to get involved in the anti-apartheid and social justice. And social justice issues have always been important for me. Well, I grew up in South Africa I wasn't born in South Africa, I was born in Zimbabwe, but I grew up in South Africa from age of a child, from about 7, and I was there for my teenage years. I left when I was in my mid-20s.
I've always had it taught to me that politics is a platform where things can get done. So it's very attractive to me. I don't have a very cynical view of politics, obviously, as I've entered into it at the local level. Our family has a long history of political involvement and public life, and that has, I think, that fostered a lot of dinner table conversations about, what can be done in this arena, in the political arena. And so I'm hopeful, I'm very hopeful. There's a history of politics and a history of activism. Obviously my surname, Delahunty, is most commonly known for its representatives at the state level of government, but many of those representatives came from the local level first. So our family, both on my mother's side and my father's side, have a long history of involvement in local government. My brother is at the moment a councillor for Otway Shire Council, and my mother's uncles, I think there were 3 of them at one time on local council. My first cousin is Dennis Napthine, and so he's obviously come from a different side of politics, as has a lot of my family. I think we figured it out that the women are sort of left and the men have gone kind of right. So I think the kind of the family joke is if none of us turned up on election day, I think the results would still be the same. I think we just turn up and vote and net each other out. But it shows that this sort of activism can be fostered at a really young age, and that when there is family involvement, you do get this hopeful kind of notion of politics, and you don't get cynical at all about what it can do.
My first introduction to politics, I guess, was through watching news and current affairs. At primary school, when I was at primary school, there was a program called Behind the News, BTN, and that was really my first introduction to current affairs. It looked at 1 or 2 issues over a period of time and communicated to students like myself at primary school what was actually behind the issue there. And from there I continued my interest in current affairs and my interest in issues of the day through reading newspapers, through following issues of the day. They were a big influence in terms of encouraging me to, and my brothers and sisters, to take an active interest in the issues of the day, and also in terms of the positives government can do, but certainly the very limitations that government has in some areas.
Well, I was influenced to some extent from family. My father was involved, and many of the values that were sort of taught by me from my mother and father were largely around those ideas of working hard, contributing back to community, making a real difference. And those values of a hand up, not a handout, was really something that resonated strong with me. And for me, that whole opportunity of free enterprise and encouraging that environment was something that was really where I wanted to be in life. And the fact that the Liberal Party does allow people from all different areas to get involved and do things, and and ultimately you're not controlled in what you think and what you do, but allow you to express yourself freely is something that really has always resonated strongly with me.
When I was quite young, must have been about 5 years old, my father had an industrial accident when he accidentally fell off a boiler. He worked on power stations and broke his back and was 6 months in hospital. For the rest of his life that was a problem, and he died at 49 years old. And I remember that it was really tough times. I went to live with my grandparents for a period in the Blue Mountains outside Sydney. And I remember also a time when I was 10 years old, and my father took me off to the cricket in Sydney, and he got very sick on the way home on the train, and he had hepatitis, and had a long period off work. But a week or so after getting hepatitis, his boss had come around to say, "Don't worry, Alan, you'll be taken care of. When your sick leave runs out, you can go on your long service leave."
Oh, that's really nice.
And I remember standing at the door thinking, that's outrageous. It's his own leave, and he'll have to use it for being sick. And all my life it influenced me to the view that permanent employees, if they get sick, they should be able to keep being covered by sick leave. Equally, employees shouldn't take sick days off unless they're really sick.
Yeah.
Because that's two sides of the one coin. I don't think I've ever had a career in politics. Well, I started off working for 9 years for 2 trade unions, and I became active in the Labor Party after initially thinking they were a bit conservative. I became active in late 1975 when I was impressed that the Whitlam government tried to do what they said they would do, even though things went wrong. They tried, and I was impressed by that.